Yeah, okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I was wondering, what do you think the internet on a whole has with its access to instant information, for anybody to get to, what role it's played on a whole in the rise of agnosticism and the questioning of religious beliefs and the outing of frauds, religious frauds that are happening around? That's just a question for the group.
Well, very quickly, I'll just raise one issue. I think that the protests that kicked off in Egypt in particular were, a lot of the work behind the scenes was actually done through Facebook. So the internet can potentially have an enormous effect. I think Thunder is also wanting to comment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, DPR's got a very good point that the timescale of the response of the internet is orders of magnitude faster than governments can do. So previously, whilst Egypt might have been stable and the government could, subdue any of these protests that were organized through conventional mediums, the speed at which it could be done through Twitter and through Facebook was a decisive factor in this sort of wave of.
Internet has a lot. I think the internet is affecting culture a lot as well. I think
definitely.
I mean, the second thing is, of course, in terms of religions, is that a lot of what makes religions propagate well is local superiority of numbers. To use maybe charged language, but in terms of an infection, once you get lots of the units together, it propagates more effectively than if they're sort of spread all over the place. Now, of course, on the internet, they lose that local superiority of numbers, so it diminishes the propagation rates of a lot of the religions, and further than that, it's actually toxic to them, in that while you have local superiority of numbers, you can sort of control the media that you shouldn't pay attention to people who question the faith and that sort of thing. On the internet, that's completely stripped away. So those are two factors that make religion propagate far less effectively on the internet than it does in real life in societies.
It also enables us. I mean, there's translation programs that to limited degree can enable people that don't even speak the same language to still communicate in simple text. And these ideas are being conveyed so well that, I mean, we're now in an age where we don't want made up stories anymore, where Hollywood is completely fake, and we've turned to reality television, and we've made that more real. With
reality TV is not even close to real, but
you're absolutely right in that regard. But let me give one other example. I think about 6 months ago, a video was posted on YouTube, and I know that Aaron mirrored it, and I know that I did. And it related to the story of a woman who had been sentenced to death by stoning for adultery. And partly, I suspect, as a result of the amount of information that flowed through the internet about this particular case, that sentence I'm pretty certain it's not been carried out. I don't think it's been overturned yet, which has probably made her suffering even greater. But even on an individual basis, this sort of, the internet does have an impact.
Iran got smart, and they started saying that they started putting out all sorts of other stories, like she had a history of adultery and they tried to bribe people. I forget what it was. They did a lot of briefing against her. But as a sort of secondary thing to that, Pakistan's got this woman now who is sentenced to be hung, death by hanging, for blasphemy.
Oh, is that the Christian woman that was in the fields? And
yeah, absolutely. The whole thing. I mean, is people killing each other over who is the best invisible friend. I mean, it's that childish. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
Aaron, you someone to say.
Yeah, no, it's quite all right. I mean, but yes, her belief system was being criticized by a Muslim dominant area, and so she retaliates as any of us would. But of course, it's not legal to have your own opinion there when your opinion is not the opinion of the state, and so they're going to kill her.
That's just wrong. But
it's worse than that. I mean,
But
the
it's
whole.
not-
Let me put a quick point.
Yeah, go on, Thunder. You first.
That not only that, this sort of kicked off a stir in Pakistan. Those who wanted the laws reformed and those who didn't. And one of the chief guys who wanted it reformed was assassinated by one of his bodyguards, who thought that you shouldn't reform the blasphemy laws. Indeed, you should apply them more vigorously. And it's not hard in Pakistan to find an angry mob who says we'll kill anyone who sort of takes this off the books. And so you are faced with this sort of asymmetric...
and yet they call themselves a religion of peace.
Yeah, but the fundamental problem is if you're dealing with an aggressive ideology, what is the best strategy to deal with that? And yeah, if their response is you do what we want, otherwise we're quite happy to go through, you use methods like assassination, even if it's only a minority who hold the belief to that a level of extremity, that's a game-changing behavior.
We're coming very much to the end of the show, and I just wanted to make this one point very quickly. You said that when you heard about the woman who is going to be hung in Pakistan, that's wrong. The problem is that for a lot of people, it isn't wrong. Now, that is the issue. And how do people get to this position where they don't consider that hanging someone for such an innocuous offence is not wrong? And the reason is religious indoctrination.
Well, yeah, doesn't the Hadith specifically say that the penalty for apostasy should be death? I mean, it's spelled out for them. I mean, if people believe that it's the word of, it's the word of Muhammad rather, but, essentially the word of God, I mean, of course they're going to follow it.
Exactly.
It's worse than that, DPR. They're even willing to kill people who want to change the law from the status quo. And it's not just they're willing to do it, they've done it.
No, they don't want to do it. God commands them to do it. That's the difference. It's that they take their own actions, and instead of, oh no, it's not me, the Quran clearly states that this is what must happen. So it's not me that wants to kill them. It's what has been said we must do. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, we have one
over there.
What a wonderful way of avoiding personal responsibility. But still, my point doesn't detract from my point that it's religion that causes this to happen. Going back to one of the questions we were asked earlier, where do you get morality from if you don't have religion? I think the question or the response that Aaron gave to that is one that should be considered. Anyway, on that note, very quick. Well, just back to the caller first, very quickly, and then I'm going to wrap up the show because we're really overrunning now.
I was just going to say thank you for taking my call, and have a good day, gentlemen.
You too. I was just going to say that religion provides a lot of people with peace and comfort in a world torn apart by religion. I mean, I think that's the best way to look at it, in my opinion, at least. But go ahead.
But the thing is, Donnie, in relation to that, you're then in a question of, okay, there's a lot of people that derive comfort and peace from religion, but it also is responsible for an awful lot of bad things that happen. And
that's my point.
Yeah,
I'm that's sorry. What he said.
I misheard you then. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, before we close the show out, on that note, we have to remind people that next show, if we're ever going to have a theist call in, if we're going to have any Christian callers, they better call on the next show because, all the Christians are going to be gone by the show after that.
And if you're not following that, that is because the world is predicted to end on the 21st of May. And, of course, Aaron, are you not having a party on the evening of the 21st?
We so want to. I want to get something together on this, and just have my wife was afraid that people are going to be going nuts in the street, and I take a different stance. I think that even the majority of Christians are going to be saying, you know what, that's a load of bollocks.
Wait, where did this come up from? I haven't heard about this. What is going on exactly? Who is saying that the world
The rapture is going to occur on May 21st, and then so on May 22nd,
and they're spending millions of dollars on billboards and all sorts. Big campaign.
I haven't seen it. Wow. The Bible specifically says that no, I forget the exact quote, but it's that no man shall know the date or hour when Jesus will come.
Yeah, and I got to comment on this too, because this was great. I did a speech where I criticized American atheists for the billboard that they put up where you say, there is no God, we know you're right. I thought that was arrogant. American Atheist has another billboard up that I totally endorse, where they say the rapture, it's nonsense. I'm completely down with that one. And I think most people do. I don't know why they're wasting all this money on billboards when they could be doing something so much more fruitful. But, if we're going to have theists call in, make your predictions, tell us what's going to happen on the day of the rapture on May 21st. Give us what I'd like to see. Remember when we had what's his face tell us there was going to be nuclear bombs used to try to clean up the oil spill in the Gulf? Give us somebody come forward and give us a falsifiable prediction. I'd love to see that.
As would I. My point was going to be in relation to the sort of like the fact that we've got an international dateline, and for some people it's going to be the 21st, and for others it's going to be the 22nd. So is this sort of like rapture going to come across the face of the planet a bit like a tsunami, clearing up over the 24-hour period or not? I don't know, but we never will know because we'll all be dead on the 22nd.
No.
But there we are.
We won't be. Everybody on this show will still be here. Because it's the rapture. The end of the world doesn't happen until October.
I thought it, whilst they were being elevated off to heaven, and I think there's only 144,000 of them, or is that a different religion? I can't remember. The rest of us that were left over, we were all going to be killed off. Is that not right?
Yeah, no. We will still be here. It's just the good people that will disappear.
So it's not the end of the world then. In fact, the world will be a better place because we've cleared out 150,000 Christians.
The end of the world is in October, and that's when we are all,
I just feel so stupid not getting this.
Those pesky religious nuts are gone. But then in October, God flips the light switch to turn off the universe.
What a fool I am for not understanding this concept. Can I thank everyone that's come along to watch the show? It's been great to have you. We've had some interesting calls and some not so interesting calls. Aaron Ra, thank you very much. Don Exodus, thank you very much. Thunderfort, thank you very much. Any closing words from you before we close off?
One brief one. There was a comment. Who is it? Healthy Addict did an interview with one of these guys put up one of these controversial billboards. And his rationale, because I'd sort of seen it and also thought little too over the top, but the reasoning that he basically put forward, which I have to admit I agreed with, is that this is about sort of shifting what people see as acceptable, and if you like, by putting the in-your-face stuff out there. The next time someone puts up a billboard up that's sort of moderately pro-atheist, is that there won't be anywhere near the controversy because they've essentially performed the purpose of the lightning rod. It's a sort of desensitization, and I think that's basically, it was my opinion that the strategy that they were pursuing was an effective one. But yeah, even though I didn't actually like the posters that they put up, having actually seen his rationalization for it, I have to say I thought he pretty much hit the nail on the head.
Well, I'd just like to say that I have already made a contribution to a collab video, and I know that Aaron has done as well, which will be posted on the 22nd of May. So if we're not here on the 22nd of May, Aaron and I will be in heaven, but you will see our message on this video, which I'm sure we'll probably mirror and favourite. Don Exodus, did you want to say goodbye to anyone? He's just so gay, isn't he? He can't even unmute his microphone.
Sorry, I know with you interrupting all the time, I just didn't feel a need to have it on.
All right, then, shut up. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been fun. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Take care.
See you guys. Bye. Jesus loves you.